welcome back to the show, guys. Before anything, hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and the bell button so you get notified whenever I upload a video. Um, so if you guys saw my last episode with Dr. Sherwood, I sound like a Mickey Mouse. That was a technical difficulty I had on my end. My soundboard was messed with, so I sound like a Mickey Mouse for the first 16 minutes, but made for a great laugh. It's cool. It happens. But it was a great interview. I do have another interview lined up for you guys tomorrow. It'll be great. But let's get into the story. Democrats are, again, their head is exploding. A federal judge allowed Trump. Trump team sued the federal government trying to get somebody appointed, and the judge allowed it for an independent arbiter to review the more than $11,000 government records. So, and they're not having it because they want to do the reviews, not a third party, because a third party could have a different opinion than what they would have. So, let's read this through. Deeply problematic. Experts question judge's intervention in Trump's inquiry. Washington federal judge, this is from New York Times. A federal judge's extraordinary decision Monday to interject in a criminal investigation into former President Donald Trump's hoarding of sensitive government documents at his Florida residence showed unusual solicitude to him, legal specialist says. First of all, we already saw that the photos were staged by FBI. We already saw that there were just a bunch of empty folders with nothing in them. There's a lot of red flags popping up into this investigation, not towards Donald Trump, but how it's being handled and who ordered the affidavit, who ordered the investigation, the affidavit, and all this stuff is just popping up left and right. But let's read this. It's New York Times, so they're very what's the word I'm looking for? They're very creative with the words and how they construct their sentence. Just to persuade people that Trump is already guilty. This was an unprecedented intervention by a federal district judge into the middle of an ongoing federal criminal and national security investigation. You see how they're wording it? Federal criminal and national security investigation. None of this was ever mentioned during Clinton, but irrelevant at this point, I guess. Said Stephen Vladeck, a law professor at the University of Texas. Siding with Trump, the judge Eileen M. Cannon ordered the appointment of an independent arbiter to review the more than 11,000 government records the FBI seized in its search of Mar-a-Lago last month. She granted the arbiter, known as a special master, broad powers that extended beyond filtering materials that were potentially subject to attorney-client privilege to also include executive privileges. Whew. That's going to be crazy. Cannon, a Trump appointee who sits on the... here we go. A Trump appointee who sits on the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida also blocked federal prosecutors from further examining the seized materials for the investigation until the special master had completed the review. In reaching that result, Cannon took several steps that specialists said were vulnerable to being overturned if the government files an appeal, as most agreed was likely. Any appeal will be heard by the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta, where Trump appointed 6 of its 11 active judges. Paul Rosenwig, a former Homeland Security official in the George W. Bush administration and prosecutor in the independent counsel investigation of Bill Clinton, said it was egregious to block the Justice Department from steps like asking witnesses about government files, many marked as classified, that agent had already reviewed. This would seem to be a genuinely unprecedented decision by a judge. Rosenwald said, enjoining the ongoing criminal investigation is simply untenable. Well, you know what? This is what is called checks and balances. So you have a judge, you You sue. There's an appeal. There's an appeal process. Blah blah blah. Now, why is this happening? Um, this is my opinion of it. I think they got played, and they got played big, and by they I mean the FBI. Because the affidavit got the affidavit the Justice Department push out was all redacted. Basically, you couldn't read anything, not even in between the lines. Then they ordered the full disclosure of the affidavit. And then we found out that whoever that wrote the affidavit was actually walked out of the FBI. This is, again, what's being reported. And then this. They're trying to impeach Trump for like the 5th time. They're trying to get Trump on criminal investigation. Look, guys. This guy does not self-sabotage. I've said this many, many, many times. After all these years of working in New York, his real estate deals, being audited left and right, why wasn't he ever charged with any criminal activity? He became a president, and all they did, Russiagate, criminal activity, blah, 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 blah. Nothing happened. Then Ukraine happened, and they're like, we're going to impeach him for quid pro quo. Over somebody who wasn't even running at the time. He wanted an investigation into Biden, who was not a candidate at the time. Which means they impeached him and they said, he was going after his political rival. But he wasn't a political rival at the time. Which means they were only going to install him in the presidency. So this was all part of their plan. So they did that, then they impeached him again over January 6th. Now they're going to try to impeach him again for removing classified documents from the White House. What about the Clintons? What about Clinton? She openly stated that she destroyed classified documents on her servers, phones and whatnot. So they're playing their dirty games once again, and by they I mean the Democrats, rhinos alongside the Democrats. Excuse me. And this is getting it's getting pretty interesting. To say the least. Now, there's a lot of speculation if Trump's going to run for 2024, or if DeSantis is going to run for 2024. If Trump's going to run, he's going to have DeSantis as his VP. There's a lot of speculation going on right now. So they're trying to do this. They're trying to, do what they can so Trump wouldn't be eligible to run again if he wants to run in 2024. And it's falling flat on their face. Continuously falling flat on their face. Continuously. And I think it's going to get to a point that, I believe Trump's going to run in 2024. And, I say keep it up, guys. If this midterm turns out the way I think it's gonna turn out, I'm gonna have the show of the lifetime. Basically, I'm just gonna laugh from the start to the end. I'm just gonna laugh. So, anyways, I'm gonna end it right here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.